Welcome to the 170th Commencement of Capital University. Please remain seated for the processional. The invocation will be given by the Reverend Drew Tucker, University Pastor. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the national anthem.
Please join me in prayer. Here on the historic lands of the Hopewell, Miami, Adena, and Shawnee peoples, we invite the presence of the Holy One who calls us all to holy purpose beyond ourselves. We thank you for the gift of education experienced here at Capital University among faculty, staff, community partners, and students of this graduating class of 2020. Send now your blessings upon them, reminding them that on whatever lands they now serve, you go with them in purpose, comfort, and love. Amen.
Please be seated. Everyone, please welcome Interim President of Capital University, David L. Kaufman.
Good afternoon, and welcome, class of 2020, to this long overdue event. Finally, we get to celebrate you. On behalf of all Capital University faculty and staff, I extend sincere congratulations on this day of your commencement ceremony, a day we weren't sure you'd ever get to experience in person. Today, you take your well-deserved walk across the stage and receive official recognition for the graduation you earned a year ago. Your graduation marks a new beginning and a milestone in your growth and achievement. This graduation is also an invitation to become a lifelong learner and forge new paths, often ones that you could never have imagined. Your final year at Capital was unlike any other, but you persevered and began a new life beyond our university experience. You moved on, literally and figuratively. Over the last year, many of you have pursued your vocational calling. Many of you have continued your academic pursuits in graduate school. Some of you have moved far from Central Ohio. Regardless of where you are in your life today, celebrate all you've achieved. Look back and remember the obstacles you had to overcome. Thank those who helped you overcome them, and find a way to pay it forward. We also celebrate your first year as an alumnus of Capital University. Value the relationships you made during your time at Capital. Because of the interactions with your classmates, roommates, professors, and staff, you've changed both personally and intellectually, forever transformed by your Capital education. Let your life be shaped by the values and commitments you developed here. More than what you do, life is about who you are. Be a purpose-driven leader by getting involved and making lasting difference in the community where you live, work, and serve. A difference that only you can make. Congratulations. And now I'd like to introduce our special guests here on the stage. From my left are Dr. Sharon Croft, Professor of Communications. Professor Croft will read the graduates' names as you come forward. Reverend Drew Tucker, the university pastor. Dr. Jody Fournier, Provost. And our guest speaker, Andre Porter. Andre is a 2002 graduate of Capital University, where he was the student body president and played leadership roles in several student organizations. He attended law school at The Ohio State University and began his legal career with Schottenstein, Zox, and Dunn. In 2016, Andre joined the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator as its chief legal officer, and in 2018 was elected by the board of directors to serve as its corporate secretary. Please join me in welcoming Andre Porter, chair of the Capital University Board of Trustees, as this year's commencement speaker. Andre.
Well, first, Dave, thank you. I wanted to thank you first, and Provost Fournier, and first for your leadership. I think this year, of course, has been unlike any other, and I think the leadership that you showed, Dave, and Jody, as well as our faculty, and moving with light speed to pivot, to deliver new content in different ways to these students, these graduates that we're seeing sitting in front of us today was significant. I also wanted to thank all the folks who've been working this weekend. We've had a significant number of celebrations over the last few days here, celebrating all that is good about Capitol. And you see the people, sometimes you see them in front of you, or sometimes they're behind the scenes, but there are a lot of people who've worked to support this weekend. So if you'd all just join me, and let's just congratulate everyone who worked to support this weekend as well. Graduates, I am so glad that you returned to this special place for this special day today. Of course, you received your diplomas last year, but it was important that we asked you to come back and that you wanted to come back so that we could publicly recognize you in this moment. I actually think that private celebrations are nowhere near as fun public celebrations, and this is exactly what today is all about. In a public ceremony, what we actually get to do in those moments is that we know there's certain individuals who are looking up to you. They may be sitting behind you, or they may be sitting beside you today. I actually, when I sat in your seats, had 7 younger siblings who were looking up to me at that point in time, and it was important for us to have this moment of public recognition. I'm proud and pleased to say that many of them have gone on to graduate from college and receive advanced degrees today, not just because of me, but because they saw examples of what they could do and what they wanted to do. So these recognitions are important for those that are looking up to you. I also think that it's important because there are those that are looking back in remembrance of all the days that you're probably wonderful kids or maybe challenging kids, the mothers today on Mother's Day, the sacrifice, the uncertainty that perhaps you experienced in your lives, the hopeful joy and the happiness. And mothers, isn't this a wonderful Mother's Day gift today? So in graduates, it's not just all about everyone else. It's, of course, about you on this special day. This is a day that I know you've all been waiting for, and of course you received the diploma last year, but of course today we get to stand in front of you today and recognize you. We get to tell you congratulations, we get to see you walk across this stage, and of course we're all going to be so proud. You'll never forget this day, so thank you for coming back. I want to give you just a brief snippet of my personal story and maybe just one small part of it, and then talk about you. I remember sitting in your seats just a short few years ago. I'm still a young man. I always like to think that I'm still young. I don't feel so young, but we were sitting here in 2002, and I can remember the excitement of graduating from Capitol, excited about what was to come a few months later when I was going to join the first-year class at the Ohio State University Law School. Left here with all the confidence in the world and got to Ohio State first week, and I decided that I was going to leave, was going to drop out. And I'll let you know more about that in a few moments, but I do believe that had I actually dropped out, that I likely would not be standing in front of you here today. So let's pause on my story for a moment and turn to what I think you've learned about yourselves in the time that you've spent here at Capitol University and in the time since. I think we would recognize and understand that you grew in competence in your chosen field. I think we'd also recognize that we have seen you become more independent, and that's certainly been expanded now, living on your own. I think you would recognize that you've also grown and developed a greater sense of your own personal identities. You've also built significant personal relationships and connected and remained connected with your classmates and your professors. I think perhaps most important, the thing that I wanted to recognize for all of you today is that I believe that you left Capitol's campus, and in the years since you left Capitol's campus, you've also grown a greater sense of your purpose in life. And this is a challenging time because I know it's always challenging to talk about purpose, but this is one of those moments. If you'll give me just a brief moment, I'll do just 3 brief things and hopefully bring this purpose concept into reality. What I'd like you to think about just for a couple of moments with me to actually challenge you for a few seconds about whether we can actually make this purpose question real is answer a few questions for yourselves. Are you doing the things today that actually allow you to find enjoyment in life? You've had a year now since that graduation. You've got a chance to ask those questions. Are you doing the things today that will allow you to use your personal abilities, those God-given talents, those things that you've developed over time? Are you using them today as you thought you would a year or so ago when you left Capital University? Last, I'd ask you, are you doing the things that actually matter most to you? Not someone else, but are you doing the things that actually matter most to you? As you go about this work, I'd like to give you 3 pieces of advice that I think will help to bring some of this into greater clarity as you go forward. The first thing that I would suggest that you consider is that as we think about our world and as the things around us evolve, I want you to consider that small and repeated meaningful actions can actually change the world. And I actually believe this to be true. So I've given you an example of this on the screen here today. You might recognize this photo. It's a large cargo ship that was stuck or wedged in the side of the Suez Canal a couple of months back. And it stayed there for about 6 days. And you'll probably recall that there were billions of dollars of cargo that waited outside the Suez Canal to get through, to get to their destination. There's a small excavator there at the bottom of the screen, of course. And that small excavator is actually doing the work to do small but repeated but intentional digs to free that ship. I like this photo because it reminds me of the many times that I've become impatient in every part of life. I've become impatient at times with my own personal development. You become impatient at times with things in your career. You become impatient at times with work or at home. You might become impatient with the pace of change in our life, in our society, and you wish that you could close your eyes just for one moment and think that the world's going to change overnight. 1 year out, I think you probably understand and agree that the world doesn't change overnight. My encouragement for you today is that you have to accept and know that your small but repeated actions always matter. They actually make a difference. You might not get to see the results immediately. You might not even get to experience and take advantage of the results for yourselves. You may be laying the foundation for someone else. But just know that every small, repeated, meaningful action can change the world for someone else. It can change it for you. It can change it for your own career trajectory. It can change your personal satisfaction in life. The small and repeated actions can change your health. They can change, in fact, the world. So I encourage you to remember those small and repeated actions. The second piece of advice that I'd like to suggest today is that we have to remember that change happens fast, and the question on the screen, and I think is an appropriate one, and you guys have all dealt with a lot of these things, but you have to think about how will you prepare for that change. It's a trick question in this moment, but let's talk about the photo first. Many of us have likely walked through department stores and grocery stores over the past year, or at least at the start of the pandemic, and have seen shopping carts that look a lot like this one. So the gentleman in this photo apparently has some personal challenging condition, I think, and is preparing. Or maybe he has a family of individuals that have personally challenging conditions and he just needs lots of support. So I think if we think about what's going on here, there are lots of things that happen in our lives. And I think of historical events like the stock market crash of 1929, Pearl Harbor, or the Tulsa Black Wall Street massacre, and you name the event, COVID-19 being one of those examples. Things happen, change ensues quickly, and it is often outside of our control. I think the question of how you will prepare for change is a trick one, because I'd like to suggest to you that you've always been prepared for this significant change. You've had countless lessons of whether you were playing childhood sports or youth sports and you won a significant game or you lost a significant game and you grew from that moment, whether you experienced significant personal loss recently through the pandemic, and many of us have, whether you've experienced broken relationships, you often grow from all of this change. You've been prepared. I'd hypothesize that if you accept that you've already been prepared, you'll always benefit from that if you do one thing. If you simply avoid the panic that sometimes ensues when things change rapidly around you. So whether it's your financial strategy in life, through a significant economic downturn, or the suggestions that we be better about our health, dieting habits before a health crisis that comes along, or lessons that you'll all instill in your kids early on to prepare them for what's around the corner for them, preparation is always key. And yes, if you expect to have what the gentleman in the photo had, you just stock up on lots of soft bathroom tissue. I think it's really good preparation. The real point here is that training and experiences that you've had over your life have always prepared you. As you grow and get older, your best preparation is to avoid the panic and lean back onto your own experiences. So my last piece of advice today is that you would keep your capital family close and nearby. So this is a special photo for me. Erica, my wife, is in this photo. She's a 2002 Capital grad as well. We met right here on this campus. And I haven't told this story yet. Well, I actually proposed to her right out on the Mound Street walkway here. There's a brick, there that symbolizes that event. So we took our kids in the other photo there, and they're standing beside the brick where Dad proposed to Mom way back in, I can't remember which year that was, 2011. 2008, she's gonna watch this video, it's 2008. So this is really indeed a special photo for me because these are my extended Capital family. It was my Capital family of friends and professors and others who helped me most when I decided that it was time for me to leave law school after 1 week. They reminded me that law school was my new challenge in that moment. They reminded me that law school was happening fast and there were things that were outside of my control. There were some things that were in my control. They reminded me that I was prepared in that moment and that I was simply in need of taking a dose of reality and avoiding the moment of panic. They told me that most of all, they were always there to support and they'd always be proud of me. So your family may look different than this. Your extended Capital family may look different than this. There may be sorority sisters or classmates or teammates, professors. Your new family, as you grow into the years, what I would suggest is that you keep all of them close. They will know you best over time. They will help you to validate your purpose in life. They'll keep you on track when you get tired and you get weary of making those small but repeated, meaningful actions. They'll remind you to rely on your faith and your preparation in a time of crisis or significant change. You've come back to the Capital family today. You've actually never left the Capital family. And I, for one, simply want to tell you how proud I am of all of you that you've come back, and we love you all. Congratulations.
Everyone, please welcome Provost Jody S. Fournier.
President Kaufman, on behalf of the faculty of the college, it is my honor and privilege to present the candidates for Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Nursing, Master of Music and Music Education, Master of Arts in Education, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and Bachelor of Social Work.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I now confer upon each of you the recommended master's and bachelor's degree with all the rights and privileges as well as all obligations and responsibilities.
The candidates will be introduced by Professor Sharon Croft. Dr. Fournier and Interim President Kaufman will now greet the graduates and present their diplomas.
Stephanie L. Smith, summa cum laude. Megan K. Douglas, summa cum laude. Christopher G. Brown, magna cum laude. Molly C. Andrews, cum laude. Sierra D. Roberts, summa cum laude. Blake Douglas Hamler, cum laude. Benjamin Drake. Malachi A. Beckles. Crystal Doggins III. Armani N. Skipper. Kelly D. Logan. Emily A. Singer, magna cum laude. Taylor Scholl, magna cum laude. Jordan N. Schaefer, summa cum laude. Caitlin Michelle Oliver, cum laude. Benjamin Hardy. Garrett N. Eichler. Julian T. Dittmer, summa cum laude. Tessa Warren, summa cum laude. Taylor R. Irvin. Carly Julianne Wilson. Zoe Drake. Joshua Barton. Emily Jo Eaton, summa cum laude. Sierra S. Parker, summa cum laude. Ernestina A. Forku. Chesley Ann Talise, summa cum laude. Christina N. Nguyen, magna cum laude. Marinella Dela Cruz Diotis, magna cum laude. Iola O. Yadeki. Elizabeth A. Sutton, magna cum laude. I need to correct a mistake. I didn't announce that Iola is summa cum laude. Anna J. Manos. Jack R. Dowdell. Nicole Irene Miller. Her degree is presented by her mother, Glenda Scamhorn, Capital University Payroll Manager of Human Resources. I'm now going to read the names of those students who have graduated virtually. Nicole Carr, Mame Marim Dia, magna cum laude. Taylor M. Fleming, summa cum laude. Devin Gregg, and Amanda Teague. Thank you.
We'll now take a short pause while the graduates finish getting their photos taken. Please remain seated. Thank you. Once again, Interim President David L. Kaufman.
We wanted to pause for a second to give everyone a chance to get back to their seats, such that I can say this. Congratulations, graduates of the class of 2020.
It is now time to observe a commencement tradition for new alumni. Graduates, if you're able, please rise. To signify your graduation, please move the tassel on your mortarboard from right to left. Awesome. Now it's official. Also, graduates, let's recognize those who helped you reach this important milestone. Please turn and applaud your families, friends, and loved ones and show your appreciation for their support. Now, one final important rite of passage. Graduates, you'll recall your very first days on campus, when our academic community was called together to welcome you as new students to Capital University. You celebrated with your family members as you processed through our Memorial Gateway to begin your studies. But as you know, Capital's tradition prevented you from exiting the gate until graduation. Now, years later, plus another year delayed due to COVID, we invite you, if you haven't already, to fulfill this tradition as you mark the completion of your academic journey by walking out Memorial Gateway. So following the benediction and the recessional, we encourage you to go to the gate for an informal celebration with your family and friends. There will be music and photo opportunities for you to enjoy. Yes, even in the rain. Or you can come back again to this beautiful campus when the weather will cooperate. Again, congratulations. Happy Mother's Day. Enjoy your special weekend.
The benediction will be given by the Reverend Drew Tucker. Please stand.
Class of 2020, you left your programs a year ago, but you did not leave our hearts and minds as we yearned to celebrate you in this way. And I'm so grateful that here at the end of your day, I get to bid you, on behalf of our whole university, Godspeed and farewell. So receive then this benediction. May you find yourselves on paths of blessing, and may you share those blessings with those that need them. May you find yourselves in environments of abundance and share that abundance with those that need it. May you find yourselves in communities of justice and ensure that all who need justice can taste and see it. And in the words of an ancient Navajo blessing, may it be beautiful before you. May it be beautiful behind you. May it be beautiful above you. May it be beautiful below you. May it be beautiful all around you. And dear friends, in all that you choose to say and all that you are called to do, may you share that beauty with all the earth. Amen.
Please be seated for the recessional and remain in place until after all graduates have exited. A reminder for all our guests, please exit out the doors at the back of the auditorium. We invite you to make your way to the Memorial Gate lawn area for an informal celebration. Again, we ask that you please exit out the doors at the back of the auditorium, and we invite you to make your way to the Memorial Gate lawn area for an informal celebration. Thank you.